Should I do it? Should I sing the song? Okay. I just want to celebrate another game we're winning. I just want to celebrate. Sens win 2-1 in overtime over the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel very good singing that song today. Yes, I love when the Sens win, but let's face it, the Penguins almost ran them out of the building last night, yet they still somehow found a way to win. I guess that's the key. They somehow found a way to win, snapped their 2-game losing streak, and in the process moved back within 4 points of Montreal for the final playoff spot in the East. As always though, before we get too far into things, let's look at lineup changes. For the first time in 4 games, we have a change to the lineup. Bobby Ryan and Matt Duchene are both in fact out long term, as Pierre Dorion confirmed on Saturday. Ryan is out with a concussion, but how long he's out? We're not really sure, as there's no timeline for his return. Duchene is also out long term as he suffers from a groin injury, which Dorion says will keep him out of the lineup for weeks. With those guys out of the lineup, the Sens need to make some changes, not only to their lines, but to their roster. Needing to make a call-up, the Sens turn to Nick Paul to fill their vacant center spot, while Max McCormick returned to the lineup after serving as the healthy scratch for the last 6 games. With the lineup changing so significantly, Guy Boucher would need to make changes to his lines to fit those new players in. For the most part, Boucher elected to keep pairs of players the same, and put an extra player with those pairs. Paul and McCormick drew into the lineup to play on the 4th line with Pyatt, while Smith and Pajärvi moved on to the 3rd line to play with Dzingel. The 2nd line saw Batherson join the pair of Tierney and Bodker, while rightfully so, the line of Tkachuk, White, and Stone was kept fully intact. On defense, the Sens made just a single change, as Christian Jaros drew out of the lineup, and Max Lajoie drew back in after missing the last 3 games due to injury. Craig Anderson got the start and goal, as the Sens looked to bounce back after less than terrific efforts on both Tuesday and Thursday night. But in the first period, the Penguins absolutely dominated that. The Penguins absolutely dominated the Sens in the first period, outshooting them 16-7, carrying a 9-2 edge in scoring chances, and an 8-1 edge in high danger scoring chances. Digging into the advanced metrics deeper, the Penguins had a Corsi rating of 80%, meaning 80% of all things that happened in the first period came off the sticks of Penguins. Complete and utter domination. In the early going though, it was the Sens that got on the board first. Less than 4.5 minutes in, Tkachuk and White win a puck battle behind the net. They lose the puck and Mata picks it up. They force Mata to turn it over and Stone picks it up. He sends it back to Chabot at the blue line. He fires a slapper through everybody including to Smith, and the Sens lead 1-0. Winning puck battles, forcing turnovers, going hard to the net, getting pucks through, hitting the net. It was an excellent mix of everything you need to be successful in the offensive zone. But scoring goals, that hasn't been the Sens' problem this year. It's been keeping them out. The Sens do manage to keep it out for the remainder of the period, but a lot of the credit goes to Andy, who needed to be terrific. He was, and the Sens get to the first intermission, clinging to a 1-0 lead. And early in the second, the Sens strike again. On the opening faceoff, Zach Smith makes like Moses and parts the Red Sea. The Penguins just kind of stand there and watch him. He slowly takes the puck to the net and then jams home the rebound. And Ottawa leads 2-0. What a weird goal. It was almost like the Penguins weren't ready to start the period. Fortunately, Smith was there to take advantage. But Chris, Crosby's whining about something. Yeah, but he always whines. No, like he's whining. I think he thinks he was offside. Oh great. Sure enough, the Penguins challenge for offside, and the goal gets called back. Jeez, that's a rough one. To be perfectly honest, when watching the replays, I never could see the puck from the other side of the ice. For some reason, I just couldn't find it in the air. When they showed the angle closest to the boards, you couldn't tell if his skate was in the air or not. But when you add them both up, it looked like it was offside, and Gary Galley said on the broadcast it was offside, so it must have been. Tough break, and a huge momentum swing in the game. It wouldn't take the Penguins long to capitalize on that momentum either, as Jean-Sebastien D picks up a loose puck in the neutral zone off a turnover, wheels into the Sens zone, goes wide, and fires a shot short side on Anderson to tie the score at 1. Yikes. That was a bit of an ugly one. I'm sure of all the goals he's given up this season, this would be near the top of his list of ones he'd want back. There's not really a ton the Sens could have done differently in their own end on this one either. Yeah, the turnover in the neutral zone was terrible, and they need to do a better job of managing the puck, but I thought once the puck got into the Sens zone, Harper did a great job of forcing D to go wide. He just beat Andy with a decent shot. Now, in a span of 3 minutes, you go from thinking you're ahead 2-0 to having your goal taken back to being tied at 1. Not a great stretch, but it's important they stick with it. Sure enough, they do just that. Both teams have lots of chances, neither finds the back of the net, and we go into the second intermission, tied at 1. Of course, goalposts played a factor in that as well, as both teams, yeah, they heard the ting of the post in that period. There's only one other play in the period that I'd like to address as well. It wasn't a goal, or a save, or a goalpost, or even a hit. It was a brutal and inexcusable slew foot from Brian Rust. With less than 3 minutes left in the period, Colin White picks up the puck in the neutral zone. Rust chases after him and wraps his arm loosely around White. He then slew foots White, causing White's head to bounce off the ice. And somehow, that went uncalled. What a joke. Was it a penalty? No question. There's literally a rule in the rulebook called slew footing, which is designed to penalize players that do exactly what Rust did. There were 2 referees on the ice, yet somehow with the play right in the middle of the puck, they both missed it. I'm not really buying that, but fine, you both missed it. Will Rust have to talk to George Peros today? It doesn't sound like it, which is even more ridiculous to me than the missed call on the ice. So the referees are there to do a job. They didn't do it. You were there to assess supplemental discipline if someone breaks the rules, and you're not going to do anything about it either. So basically, he egregiously, blatantly, and dangerously breaks the rules of the game, and he's going to get off completely scot-free. Just a joke. Now, to be honest, I'm not even really sure if a slew foot should be a suspension. Partially because I don't even know what is and isn't a suspension anymore. Some slew foots get suspensions, others don't. Some hits get suspensions, others don't. Add in the fact the NHL is going to be busy dealing with the Toronto-Boston game from last night. Yeah, and it looks like Rust will totally and completely get off without any punishment at all. Like I mentioned, is the play worthy of a suspension? I'm not sure. But here's my biggest complaint with this play and there not being a suspension for it. Who hands out the suspensions in the NHL? It isn't necessarily the league themselves. The NHL created a whole new department within their league to handle suspensions. And that is called the Department of Player Safety. The department within the league that hands out suspensions is literally called the Department of Player Safety. An NHL player in an NHL game gets dangerously slew-footed and bounces his head off the ice. This, to me, would constitute a situation where player safety was affected. Shouldn't that mean you maybe step in and do something? But instead, it goes uncalled by the referees and unpenalized by the department that is literally set up to watch out for player safety. Well done, NHL. Well done. We head into the third period, tied at 1. And in the final frame, yeah, we get more shenanigans. Zach Smith gets sent to the box for an illegal check to the head of Sidney Crosby, and he is not happy. Now, I have to preface what I'm about to say by saying my dislike for Crosby is as strong, if not stronger, than anyone else's out there. I can't stand him. But, no question Smith should have been sent to the box for this penalty. Honestly, even though I'm a Sens fan, and I strongly dislike Crosby, even if I was the referee in that game, I probably would have made that call. Actually, to be honest, those are the kinds of penalties I enjoy calling. It was pretty blatant and pretty obvious. Those are the easiest calls to make. Nothing ticky-tack about it. Fortunately, the Sens kill it off, and despite some excellent chances from both teams, including the Penguins and Jack Johnson, who somehow missed a wide-open net, the Sens salvage a point and get to overtime. In the extra period, Colin White gets a breakaway. He moves in, slides to his backhand. He's stopped by DeSmith. The puck goes back the other way. Malkin moves in on a one-on-one. Wait, the whistle went. The Penguins get called for too many men. Thank goodness! And the Sens go to the power play in overtime. Sure enough, 20 seconds into that power play, Shabbat feeds Stone. He slides it cross ice down low to Dzingel. He somehow, from a terrible angle, roofs it over the arm of DeSmith. And the Sens win 2-1 in overtime. Oh my baloney Dzingel. Where did you learn to shoot the puck like that? What a shot, and what a game winner. They may not have earned the 2 points, but they got them. There was something said after the game that I'd like to briefly touch on before we get into good news, bad news. Ottawa's game winner came on a 4-on-3 power play in overtime. A couple of the players, as well as Boucher himself, were kind of humble bragging after the game about how they had worked on that in practice in the morning. Boucher went as far as to say they were supposed to work on 5-on-4 work in the morning, but he had a hunch, so he changed it from 5-on-4 work to 5-on-3 and 4-on-3 work instead. Credit to him for making the change, and credit to him for nailing it. But I'd like to play devil's advocate here for a minute. Sure, it's awesome that he made the change and helped get them the overtime winner. And maybe this is just my negative side talking, but when I saw those comments, I was just left with one thought. Yeah, it's great that you made the change, and awesome that it worked out, but Ottawa went 0 for 2 in the second period on the power play, and 0 for 2 in the third period on the power play. Maybe if you had have worked on your 5-on-4 play in the morning, you would have scored on one of the first 4 chances, and you wouldn't have had to go to overtime to win it. Just a thought. Add in the fact that it was Ottawa's 5th chance, and they might have just been due anyway. Regardless of either fact, the Sens win, I'm happy, and the losing streak is over. Now, let's move on to good news, bad news. Ottawa wasn't very good last night. They were dominated for long stretches of the game, but they somehow found a way to win, and that is good news. Not every night you're going to play well, and not every night you're going to be successful when not playing well. Just look at Tuesday and Thursday. But the good teams, and Ottawa is trying to become a good team, need to find ways to win when they're not at their best. The Sens? They managed to do that. Yes, they got some luck from their goalposts and crossbar, and yes, it's a little concerning that we're having a conversation about Ottawa playing a less than awesome game for the 3rd game in a row. But like I mentioned, sometimes it's more about withstanding the barrage than it is about asserting your own dominance. That's exactly what happened last night. Not only does it help that they learned how to win when not playing their best, but they managed to pick up 2 points, which moving into the rest of the season will be huge as they either look to stay out of the Jack Hughes race or stay in the playoff race. The Sens found a way to win when playing less than their best, and that is good news. Now, for the bad news. If I say the number 26 in reference to a hockey game, most people would assume I was talking about the shot total for one team or the other. In this case, I'm not. The 26 I'm referring to is Ottawa's giveaway total. If I said minus 16 in reference to sport, you might think I was talking about Tiger Woods' Masters score. And in this case, yeah, I'm not. I'm talking about Ottawa's giveaway rate. 26 giveaways and a turnover margin of minus 16. Ottawa did not do a good enough job managing the puck, and that is bad news. Like I mentioned in the good news segment, Ottawa did find a way to win this game. But if they keep turning the puck over and keep managing the puck like they did in this one, they're not going to be able to find a way to win too many times. On the only goal the Penguins scored, they did so thanks to a turnover. They hit many posts, thanks to some turnovers. The Sens didn't manage the puck, which meant they spent the game chasing it. You use up extra unnecessary energy trying to chase down a puck that you gave away. You also spend less time with the puck because you gave it away. Turnovers not only lead to more scoring chances for, but they lead to more energy and more momentum, and less scoring chances against, because they have the puck more. This is exactly what happened in this game. Fortunately, Ottawa managed to hang on. Ottawa didn't manage the puck good enough though, and that is bad news. Next up, the Sens take on the... Oh, Lord have mercy, no. Please God, no, not today, no, 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 no. The Sens are back in action tonight when they take on the Boston Bruins. 2 games against the Bruins so far this season, a 6-3 loss in Boston, and a 4-1 loss in Ottawa. David Pastrnak has 4 goals, 4 assists in those games, Brad Marchand has 4 assists, and Patrice Bergeron has 4 goals and 3 assists. And better yet, the Sens are starting Mike McKenna. Oh, happy days! Merry Christmas, Boston. Fortunately for the Sens, though, Bergeron won't be playing in this game, and that is very, very fortunate. That is going to be a huge help. The Sens also come into the contest as the more rested team. While both teams played last night, the Sens got to go home to bed, while the Bruins had to travel from Boston to Ottawa after beating Toronto last night. It's a marginal advantage, but it is an advantage. Please put to use any advantage you have. One more of these Boston games, and I'll be driving down to the CTC to coach you myself. Will I have to? Or can the Sens finally keep the Bruins in check, minus Bergeron? Leave a comment below. See you later tonight.